Okay, this is your concept number 4. Again, it's properties of exponents, but now we're looking at quotient rules. So the first one is quotient of powers property. So very similar to how in the last section we were multiplying powers together. We were multiplying the same base and we were able to add the exponents. Well, instead, now we're doing quotient, which means we're dividing. Okay, so I'm taking the same base and I'm dividing it. So the shortcut is to subtract the exponents. You are still doing, technically still doing division. That's your ultimate goal, is to divide the two values. But if it's a base, if they have the same base, your shortcut is you can just subtract their exponents. So if we look at a couple examples, I have 8 to the 5th divided by 8 to the 2nd. So in this case, our 8s are our bases. Okay, so the bases are completely the same. So in same exact way as in the last section, your base stays the same in your answer. So I'm still going to have an 8 as my answer. Okay, we are not dividing 8 divided by 8 and getting a 1. In this case, the 8 is the base to your exponents. It's not a coefficient that is by itself. It is a base to your exponents. So you are going to subtract the exponents. So I have 8 to the 5 minus 2 power, because again I'm subtracting. This has an exponent of 5, this has an exponent of 2. So we are subtracting them. We get 8 to the 3rd power is the final answer. Same thing here in example 2. We have an x to the 12th power divided by an x to the 7th. So again, your base here is an x. So it stays an x in your answer. The base is not changing. What is changing is your exponent. So I'm going to subtract 12 minus 7 to get a positive 5. So again, you're subtracting the exponents, but the base is going to stay the same. Now, what you can also think about with these is that you're ultimately canceling exponents. So in this second example, if I have an x to the 12th, that means I have 12 x's. Here I have x to the 7th, which means I have 7 x's. So you can think about canceling them. Okay? And I can cancel one at a time, back and forth, until I'm not able to cancel anymore. So these 7 are all going to completely cancel with 7 of those 12. So if I cancel out 7 of these 12, I only have 5 left. So you can also think about this as canceling, and sometimes it helps to write them out. All right, let's look at these examples here. So number 1, I have a negative 3 that's in parentheses. All of that is being raised to the 9th power. Then I have a negative 3, again in parentheses, raised to the 3rd power. So our bases match, which is very important. If the base doesn't match, you can't use this trick. So I have a negative 3 in parentheses, a negative 3 in parentheses. That's my base. So again, remember the base does not change. So it's going to stay a negative 3 in parentheses exactly the way it was at the beginning. Then the shortcut is to subtract your exponents. If I have 9 in the numerator and 3 in the denominator, 9 minus 3 is a positive 6. So my final answer is negative 3, all of that in parentheses raised to the 6th power. All right, in number 2, we have 5 to the 4th power times 5 to the 8th power. Then all of that is being divided by 5 to the 7th. So this is now including the previous concept of the product properties. So 5 to the 8th times, or 5 to the 4th times 5 to the 8th. We need to combine these first. So again, the bases are the same, and we're multiplying. So remember, that shortcut is to add your exponents. So this numerator, truthfully, is 5 to the 12th power, because if I add the 4 and the 8, keep the base the same, so it's still a 5 to the 12th power. Now, that is being divided by 5 to the 7th. Bases are the same. Division means that you can subtract the exponents. Your final answer is 5 to the 5th power. Now, in number 3, we have an x to the 5th, y to the 4th. All of that is being divided by x to the 3rd. So now, I cannot combine my numerators like I just did in number 2. These are not the same base. So remember, they have to be the same base in order to combine them. So I have an x and a y. they're not the same base, so it's just going to stay x to the fifth y to the fourth. But it's being divided by an x to the third, which means these have the same base. So I can divide that portion of it. I can simplify this just in that portion of it. So x to the fifth divided by x to the third, same base, so I can subtract their exponents. It's going to give me an x to the second. Then that y to the fourth just stays with your answer. Okay? There was nothing we could do to simplify it, so it stays y to the fourth in your answer. Okay? So remember, you can only combine terms with the same base. All right, in number 4, we have 1 over y to the 7th, so 1 divided by y to the 7th, and all of that is being multiplied by y to the 9th. So the first thing you have to do is actually multiply these together, and that's just going to move that y to the 9th to this numerator. 1 times y to the 9th is just y to the 9th. Then it's still divided by y to the 7th. Now you can actually do the division portion of this. These are same bases being divided, so you just subtract your exponents, y to the second. 8x to the 10th divided by 2x to the 4th. Right? This 8 and 2 are coefficients. They don't have exponents attached to them, so they're not considered a base with an exponent. So I'm just going to actually divide them. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then the x to the 10th and the x to the 4th, when you divide those, you can use your subtraction shortcut. So again, the base stays the same. 10 minus 4 gives you a 6. Okay, so you do have to divide the coefficients just like you normally would. Then in this last example here, we have x to the 5th times y to the 8th. All of that is divided by x to the 2nd, y to the 1st. Right? Now again, you can only combine terms that have the same base. So this x to the 5th can only be included with the x to the 2nd because again, they have the same base. So my base stays the same. I subtract them and get an x to the 3rd. Then y to the 8th divided by this y. Technically, you have to remember that this has a 1 with it. Right? It has an exponent of 1. If you don't see an exponent on something, it has an exponent of 1. So I have y to the 8th divided by a y to the 1st is going to give me a y to the 7th when I subtract the exponents. All right, now the second portion of quotient property. So this is power of a quotient property. To find the power of a quotient, you're going to find the power of the numerator and the denominator separately, and then you're going to divide. So in this first example, the entire fraction of 3/7 is being raised to the 4th power, which means, and it's just like in the first concept, this 4 technically gets distributed in a way to each one of these values. It gets attached to the 3 and it gets attached to the 7th. So I have 3 to the 4th divided by 7 to the 4th. So like I said, I'm just attaching it to each one of them. Okay? And technically I'm using the multiplication property. This is 3 to the 1st power. So I have a power raised to another power and multiply them. That gives me 3 to the 4th. 7 to the 1st to the 4th power is 7 to the 4th. Now, I can't simplify this any further because the bases are not the same. This is a 3 as a base and a 7 as a base. So remember, if the bases are not the same, there's nothing you can do to combine them in any way. Now let's look at the second example here. This entire fraction of 2x divided by y is being raised to the 3rd power. So again, I am going to take this 3 and attach it to the numerator, and then I'm going to attach it to the denominator. So the first thing we do is just take this numerator and put it in its own set of parentheses and attach that 3 to the outside of it. Then I'm also going to attach the 3 to the denominator. Now I have to take this 3 and attach it to each piece of that numerator. So this 3rd power gets attached to the 2 to become 2 to the 3rd, and it gets attached to the x to become x to the 3rd. The denominator, we already attached that 3 to it, so it stays y to the 3rd. Now, one thing that you can do to simplify here, this 2 to the 3rd, you can simplify that and figure out what is 2 to the 3rd power. Now remember, we are not multiplying here. It is not 2 times 3, it is 2 to the 3rd power. Remember, that means it's telling you how many 2's you have. So I have 3 2's. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So I have 8x to the 3rd over a y to the 3rd. That's as far as you can take this because your bases of your variables here are not the same, and I don't have any other coefficient here that I can divide that 8 with. So that's going to be your final answer. And a few more on the back. So first one, I have a negative 7 over x. All of that is being raised to the second power. So again, this 2 has to get attached to each value. Okay, I'm going to attach this negative with the 7. You choose which, if you want it to go with the numerator or the denominator. It's normally the easiest just to attach it to the numerator. So negative 7 squared is a positive 49. Negative 7 times negative 7 is a positive 49. Then I also attach the squared to the x, so it's just going to stay an x squared. Second example, same thing. This squared on the outside gets attached to each piece of that fraction. So I'm going to attach it to the numerator, and I'm going to attach it to the denominator. Then I'm going to actually deal with that too. So x squared to the second power, multiply your powers, you get x to the fourth. Here, again, remember this 2 has to get attached to the 4 and to the y. So it becomes 4 squared, which is 16, y to the second power, which is just y to the second power. Then in the last example, same exact thing. I'm going to attach it to just the numerator and attach it to just the denominator. Then I have to take that value and attach it to every single piece of the numerator and every piece of the denominator. So 3 to the third power is 27. X to the fifth raised to the third power, multiply, you get x to the 15th. Then 5 to the third power. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Then this y to the second raised to the third, again multiply your exponents, you get y to the 6th. So that's your final answer. All right, let's move over here to part A. We have 2x to the third divided by y. All of that is being raised to the second power. Then that's being multiplied times 1 over x squared. So same thing as before. This 2 has to get attached to both. So 2 squared is 4. X to the third squared is x to the 6th. Then I also attach it to the denominator. It's again being multiplied times 1 over x squared. So we're going to combine this into one single fraction. Remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you really just multiply straight across. So 4x to the 6th times 1 just stays a 4x to the 6th. Then y squared times x squared, can't actually multiply them together, so they're just going to get written next to each other. Now we can use our quotient rules. The 4, there's no other coefficient to divide, so it's going to stay a 4 in the numerator. I have an x to the 6th and an x to the 2nd. Same base, so you can subtract the exponents to get an x to the 4th. Then this y squared, there's nothing to combine with it, so it has to stay, and what's really important is it has to stay in the same position that it currently is. It is currently in the denominator, so it has to stay in the denominator. All right, same thing with part B. It's really the same type of example as here, so you're going to distribute that 3 into each term, multiply them together, and then subtract your exponents. Now, these numbers, they're really big. Okay? You will see them on the test. Some of them will be bonus on the test. But you're going to simplify the inside of the parentheses first. Right? Or you can carry this exponent on the outside into every single one of these terms first. So you have a lot of different options with these. Again, they will be bonus, but they're really important, and you will a lot of times see them on the keystones. So you get to choose. Either simplify what's inside of here first, then deal with this 4 at the end, or put this 4 with every single term that's inside of here, and then deal with the inside last. All right, this is, again, your concept number 4, which is the quotient rules for properties of exponents.